Hello, this is John Cola. My student number is 151938, and this video I'm going to talk about the health of the player and how I make a health bar and how to respawn the player. So in the upper left corner you already see the health bar, which is tied to the player's health, and if the player takes damage it depletes until it gets to 0, and then you die and respawn a little while later. So first things first, the player health is in the player. It's a float, which is automatically set to 100 and is set to 100 each time you respawn, which I'll get into later. So for the way it gets damage is basically I have an event, any damage. I take that damage, I take the player health, which in this case will be 100. I take the damage off that, and what comes out of that will be the new player health. Then it gets checked to see if it's below 0 or not. If it is equal or below 0, then we set this to true, which means we destroy the actor because the player dies. Also, for debugging purposes, I made that if you press the H button, it will flip-flop between A and B. So if you press the third time, it will go back to A. And basically what this does, it sets the player either to 100 or 1, just for some testing for some hazards in the health system. Now, to go to the HUD, the way I did the HUD is, you can see this here, this is a special icon different than the rest. To get that, you can right-click and then on user interface, not blueprints, but user interface, you can find it here. They probably did that because, well, it's used mostly for user interfaces. So if you want something similar than this, then you need a progress bar, which you can find here, and drag it in. Then you would have something like that. I'll delete this for now. Then you can set the color here for when it's filled. Then the percentage. So you can see the lower it gets, the lower the bar gets. And then for the graph, this is what you would basically need. So first event construct, this is the same as event begin play basically. So it starts making this when the game starts playing. You get to play a character, which is 0 in this case. It's always in blueprinting and programming. The first number is usually always 0, and that's also always the player character, the local player character. We check to see if that's the first person character, which it is and should be, and then we set that as the player character. So what we then also do is we actually bind this. So you would have a button here that says bind. If you click on that, you would be taken here. So put this up to get %. And what this basically does is, in order for the health to be properly calculated to this bar, we need to set it to percentages. So like this, so that it won't bug out when it's calculating how big the bar needs to be or how filled it needs to be. So what we're doing is, this is basically the function, this is how it starts. You cast to the first person character, and then again you get the player character, which is 0. Then you get its health, and you delete it by 100. The reason why you need to delete it by 100 is because the maximum of the progress percentage is 1. It can be over that because then it won't really work. And that's the value you return. And then you go to the player character, and at begin play, so when you start it, you create the hot widget, and then you pick a class, which is the same name as the blueprint you just made, and you put it add to viewport, so that it actually gets added to this viewport. And that's basically how you get the health bar in there. So the other thing that I want to talk about is the respawn. So to do that, the respawn is mostly done in the first person game mode, which should be default under if you use a first person template. So in there, we basically have this. So this is a custom event that we also proc to begin play. So we don't actually have to put a first person character in there, because using this, it's already going to put one in the game. So at event begin play or during the respawn event, again, it costs for a first person character and it gets the player character. Then it binds this event on destroyed. So what this basically does is, like we said here with health, destroy actor, when this happens, then it says, oh, okay, that happened, so now let's activate this. So we put a delay of 2 seconds in there because it can be kind of jarring for players to almost immediately teleport to somewhere else when they die. So I put a 2-second duration in there. And then after that, this will proc. So it will spawn the actor, the first person character. So which you select here. Then you put a spawn transform in, which is basically just this. Basically another variable that you make of the transform, not vector, but transform. Then you make sure it gets possessed by a controller, which in this case is the player controller. And this is basically saying the get to certain pawns and characters need a controller. If it's the player, it's a player controller. If it's an AI controller. And again, 0, the first number is for the local player, for player 1 basically. So that's what you get, and you use it to possess the first person character, and then you activate respawn, which is this basically. And here you make sure that it gets properly respawned also. So you get the game mode, which is the first person game mode, which is what I just showed you. Then you get the transform, get actor transform, set it, and set the health back. And that's basically what happens. So did I forget anything? Yeah, I forgot. For again, testing purposes, I also made it that when I press R, the player gets teleported again back to the starting location, which is again another variable. So let's test it out. So now I'm going to press R, and I get teleported back. And if I press H, you see that my health gets set back to 1, so I die easily. I can also heal my health back up to 100. And take damage, which works with the bar. I die, and a couple of seconds later, I respawn again. So that's basically it for this video. Thank you very much for your time, and see you in the next video.